everyone to week 2 of the LEC 2023 Spring Group Stage. Today we'll have an action-packed day with 2 elimination matches, kicking off with Mad Lions and Fnatic fighting for survival. I'm Laure, joined by Roxa and GB in this very Danish desk. I'm really not used to.
Det føles fantastisk, at vi endelig... Altså, der er choksnakker en helvedes masse fra den sidste gang, så det er fantastisk, jeg har en fra mit eget land, der kan være her til at give mig lidt underholdning også.
Ja, jeg synes også, det er ved at være på tide, vi får lidt støtte, og ja, nu har vi jo et lille sjovt spil lige om lidt, så må vi se, hvilken dansker, der er den bedste i dag.
Okay, jeg skal lige se, om jeg kan få dig ned med nakken, men ellers så
Pulse. Thank you guys. Payback, I guess, for last
Clearly
week.
fluent.
But okay, we're gonna assume you didn't flame anyone here. But to kick off the day here, we're gonna play a small game of Who Am I? Here on the analyst desk, you may remember this one from your childhood. Or maybe kids don't play this day. We'll see. GB and Roxa have 2 boards with pictures of LEC players here. We will give them a few hints for one certain players. You can guess anytime, but only time you can guess just once per round. And first one to answer correctly gets the point. You guys can play at home and in the studio, of course. First player here and first hint we have: never made first all-pro team. Which player never made first all-pro team?
Well, get down.
Get
Goodbye, Mad Lions.
Hit them away. Oh my God. Hit them away. You can bring them back, of course, if you
Interesting, actually. This is...
Any guesses on this side?
I'm sure he did, for sure. I mean, he... no.
GB, Roxa, any guess?
There's no guesses
No,
so
no,
far.
not
The
yet,
field
not
is
yet.
too huge.
Second hint, then. It's a professional rower during mid-lane school. Wow.
Mid-lane school.
Middle school. Yeah, middle school. Mid-lane school.
No, that's what
Middle
I'm
school,
gonna
mid-lane?
Mid-lane school, middle
Well,
school.
was that a leak?
Actually.
Unintentionally leaking the game. Do you guys have any guesses so far? Which
just-
players
Not
going down
really.
here?
I don't even know what to put down just by that
Yeah,
hint.
that's-
It's like,
They're not giving us much here.
who would look like
Okay,
a
next
rower?
hint, next hint.
Okay.
Okay.
Won an LEC title. Which of the guys you have?
Won
That
an
this
LEC
allows me to
title.
remove a few pieces here at least.
They're not on the same page here, as you guys can see.
No, I mean...
Any guesses?
No,
No?
not really yet.
GB?
Not win, not win.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, last hint here. Has more than 1 pentakill in the LEC, of course. More than 1 pentakill in the LEC, of course. Who do you have?
I got it. I'm ready.
Ooh.
Oh no.
I know.
Okay,
It's comp.
correct. First one goes.
Easy game.
Oh, damn it. I was looking at Reckless, but then I was like, no, he played football.
Resets.
And then,
I would like to get you guys to know at home that the LEC control room bets on whoever was going to win, and no one bet on GB. So GB, you're the underdog here. You have everything to prove.
The pressure's on.
that's the problem.
Okay,
I
you
don't
know
work
what?
well under pressure. No.
No, wait. You can do it like this.
But I'm afraid of
There you
putting
go.
the...
No,
thank
worst case
you.
we can put it back. Okay, first hint, did not play in the LEC last year. Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Shoot.
He may have played elsewhere though.
They played.
We have returning
Did
players.
not play last year.
No,
They played.
did not play in the
Did not.
LEC last year. Any first
not.
guesses?
Oh, wait, did not.
Definitely not.
Definitely
Then
not.
they need to
Okay.
stay. God, what am I doing? Oh no.
Okay, next
This
hint
is a
then.
K. Oh
I feel like I'm really overthinking
oh,
this.
No.
This player loves eating very spicy food.
Okay.
That's an interesting
Oh.
trivia.
Okay.
Oh, well.
See, I don't know the players that well.
GB is running it down.
I'm really trying my hardest. I'm shaking. I'm nervous. I'm making mistakes.
Oh. Any guesses on your side? Maybe?
Yeah, a lot right now.
A lot, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of options over here, so
Yeah?
don't worry about it.
Okay, next hint then, if you guys don't know, has the most kill in his position this split. Huh.
Not play the.
Okay, this should give you guys enough.
Oh god.
In his position.
Sophia.
No, but...
This is what I'm
So,
doing.
okay, what are you onto here? Like, what is the...
Well, I have...
Give us the thought process.
I have...
You can't say who you have. Okay, you guys can see.
I have
of course, who's left,
a few
virtually.
great options, and I'm just looking at the faces now and trying to figure out which one of these guys like spicy food. But I feel like it might be a little easier to
It cannot be him then if it's spicy food.
Okay, last hint. Played in a non-LEC major region before.
That's none of these. God damn it! What am I
Okay,
doing?
okay.
15 seconds on counter.
I'll snipe it. Wait.
10,
Okay,
9,
I got it.
8, 7. You got it?
No, well, give him time. He can have the first guess. I'm confident.
Look at him.
But he was not in a non.
He seems
Well,
like
you have
played a
Ronnie,
non-LEC
clearly
major
not.
region,
It
but that was
Bo.
not. But that was like.
It was
is it a-
Bo.
What? It was Bo?
Bo, yeah, you both lost. Okay, reset the board.
Oh, and non-LEC
Reset,
major region.
yeah.
Why is Crowny left up? What am I doing?
Well, no matter
I was
what,
like,
you're doing better than
Fine,
me,
you just
no
resetted the
pressure.
board already. Okay, a player made playoffs in his last LEC split. He made playoffs in his last LEC split.
Okay, that's a trick question
Yeah,
because
it's a trick question.
that's not last year. I should
Which
not have said that out
format,
loud.
Ooh.
Oh,
Damn it.
okay. And
But,
if,
but this could be like almost every player, no?
I mean, no.
I mean, it's close.
No.
But
Minus
everyone's
two
making
teams,
players
no?
nowadays.
No, you
Okay, next
didn't.
hint
Did you?
then.
Yes, you did.
He was an MMORPG and FPS player before League. Oh, wow.
Oh,
What?
There's few of them, I think, who...
was an MMORPG.
Doesn't mean that he played
It doesn't. Yeah, it
competitively,
doesn't
though.
mean he was
He doesn't-
competitive.
yeah.
But he just played it.
Okay, next hint then. Only player of his nationality in groups.
Okay, we have multiple of
Wait,
you.
wait,
we have
wait,
multiple
wait.
of
Let me
you.
think, let me think.
We have. Okay, so we
It's
have
not this
you
guy.
with Labrov. You're with
That was a way so
Jagenda.
far.
You're with you two are together. Then you are here.
I feel so lost right now.
You two.
I feel like I'm having a sneak peek into GDB's brain
I'm
here.
getting
Any guesses,
stressed out.
GD?
Multiple once again.
Multiple
yes.
once again. Roxa, nothing on
where
your
are you
side.
from?
Final guess then.
I'm completely
Won
lost.
EMEA Masters in 2019.
Wait,
Oh.
let me think.
Oh. Okay, I think
No,
I
that's not true
Well,
because
but
you have.
2019, that's such a long time ago, by the way.
2019,
Second
who went
left.
2019? Matt won in 2018. Misfits won in. Was that 2019? But that has to be spring, summer was.
10, 9.
No, that's not true.
8.
That's not true either. Wait, I'm so
6,
inting this
Okay.
game, man.
I have a,
All right, guesses
I have a
now
YOLO
on
guess.
both side because this was the last player.
This is completely random. El Yoya.
Okay, incorrect. And GB?
2019. You did not win. You did
GB
not win
for the
either.
tie.
You did not win.
Full panic.
Okay, leader, whatever. No, it's not leader because Jack Spectre is here too, so it's not leader.
The answer is leader.
What? You sniped it? Nah, but are you kidding
Does this
me?
count? Okay, that's a tie. And that's all for us here. Now,
How did you
we
snipe
got this Broxa.
What?
Broxa versus GB Danish 1v1 settled. Our pros also participated in some battles on the Rift. Let's see how this one went. Give me the boards now.
But it was the only of nationality. We have two.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, it's lost. Actually, you took the insta jump, man. Yeah. I wanted to actually. Okay. That's you're this kind of Z player. Okay, I understand. You insta W forward.
Okay.
Okay.
Oi.
Ah, I f***ed up level 1, man.
I mean, that's how this matchup is in 1v1. You f once and it's over. As long as I don't int it back now.
Okay, we're getting there.
Oi. Oh,
Oh my god. What?
oh, it's over.
Huh, you wanna flash on me?
You're level 5. I can't kill you. What if I put 2 points in W here? What happens then?
What?
Oh my god.
Whoa!
10 HP! Ah, whatever, man. Unfortunate.
GG, man.
GG. We could do Cartus, because I'm really bad at the champ.
Okay, I'm down. I'm really bad as well. Like, I'm down. Goran String and Amplifying Tone
Yeah, 2 points Q and
and W.
W, I guess, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my god.
I have the worst cards ever, by the way.
Same. Where are you?
Okay.
Bro, you're way too good. What?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh shit, that was crazy.
But that's why I hate this champion. This champion makes me feel so bad.
A bit of panic here and there. Still less than GB during the guest box
God damn it, I'm not going to live that down.
Back to League of Legends topic, because during this week, the EMEA Masters group stage concluded and 8 teams advanced to the knockout stage starting on Tuesday. Let's recap the few upsets we had here with the group stage results. I think, for me, it has to be Italy once again rising, because they've been an emerging region for the past 2 years, but topping their group B, GB, that was insane.
I've always loved Italy for many reasons. The food, their willingness to import Scandinavian players into their league as well, and for some of their League of Legends at European Masters. We've seen it before with MKUS as well. We've seen it with Samsung Morning Stars back in the day, where they took games of LDLC, albeit not making it to quarters. Matchco now doing it again, and in a group that was so stacked against their favor, it was super impressive the way they did
Insane pentakill from their bot laner. For me, these are one of the most bot lanes to watch here. But Broxa, maybe you have another favorite player in this team.
Well, obviously, there's a certain Danish jungler on this particular Italian team, so I am gonna be slightly biased. I have a feeling GB is not biased at all.
Oh
so
no,
I
mean, I've not casted him since I started my career either, or anything like that. Se Bamsen, jeg elsker dig derude, fortsæt med det. Men outside of that, yeah, really a lot of reason to watch this team.
What did you just call it?
Se Bamsen.
one of the teams to watch, of course. And on Group C, of Unicorns of Love, topping their group over LDLC, LFL, one of the most expected region here to perform. But Sheepy leading his army once again to success.
Yeah, Sheepy has proven so many times in the past that it doesn't really matter what year it is, what lineup he has, it's always year of the sheep, I guess. So, all in all, really impressive team. That jungler has been looking amazing this entire year. Got the Prime League MVP, now continuing to step it up massively in EMEA Masters, maybe an upcoming LEC player.
It's great to see this brand as well just standing high for so long. Obviously, we used to be familiar with it from our own major region, but the fact that we continuously have to see it again and again also just speaks to the success of the team.
Absolutely, bringing success once again. Broxa, you were casting EMEA Masters here. Any player in particular that got your eye and that we should focus on for the rest of the tournament?
I think there was a lot of cool players. I think Ragnar from Team Geo is an obvious one because there's so few players who can actually play carries the way that he can. I think in general, most top laners in Europe are kind of weak side top laners. They opt into Sion, Cassandra, the boring route. Whenever you watch Ragnar, he's just going to get last pick, he's going to get a counter, and whether it's Kennen, Renekton, or something else, he always shows up.
Definitely one player we could expect to see in the LEC one day soon.
I mean, I had the pleasure of casting this guy in the LFL English broadcast we had last year too. And last year I thought to myself, there was 3 LFL top laners I could see make the jump to LEC. One was Kabashot making the step back, the other one was Sugenda, who we already see, and then the third one was actually Ragnar, for all the reason you mentioned as well, but also the fact that he has so much versatility around him. We've seen him on the likes of an Ornn, where he just said, first pick me on, let's go with it, and then just take it from there.
Honestly, props to LDLC once again for their scouting. He was playing with them last year, and they discovered players like Comp, Yag that we have in the LEC this year as well. I'm also talking about Exa, Kick, and Dust. The talent factory LDLC rebuilt completely this year, and we were not expecting to see them on the top of French League once again. But for me, the one I have my eyes on for this lineup is Zoelis, the support player for LDLC. He was the rookie of the split in France. He was the MVP of the finals also. He's a player that you want to keep your eyes on maybe for the rest of the competition, in the hopes of finding the rookies of tomorrow in the LEC. Knockout stage starts Tuesday, April 18. Let's take a look at the bracket here and the quarterfinals we have lined up ahead of us. Any specific matchup you have in mind, or you're looking forward to seeing GB first?
I mean, I have to go down the Matchco route again. They are facing up against SK Prime and 3-3 to qualify as second seed, so I still feel like maybe the chances are there to make it even further and make Italy's first semi-final as well. And you know, I'm going where I see Danes. I only see one Dane in the entirety of playoffs right now. I have to go with the Italy right again.
Broxa, any spicy matchup ahead? I have my eyes on Geo and Heretics, of course, the defendants of the title for now.
Well, same actually. I think both of the LFL teams have really impressed me a lot so far this tournament. I think even Wildcats deserve a shout out too. But Team Geo has been something special for me. I think their games have been really, really impressive. They had the one loss where they kind of messed up and things didn't really go their way. But for the most part, just looking super dominant. And I think Ragnar especially is going to be a real threat this tournament.
I like everything that I heard here. Of course, NFL domination once again. We will see that in a couple of weeks,
Swedish, right?
of course. I'm really hyped about seeing FLICKR also perform again in the tournament. But back to the LEC though, because today we will have two big organizations in Mad Lions and Fnatic fighting in the lower bracket, trying to avoid a 8th place finish, elimination at the end of the night here. And it's interesting when you see that Hidisang is going to be competing against his whole team, Humanoid for the same thing, in the hope of eliminating either of them. But when you look at the bracket last week and how things played out, any things we can expect from these two teams? On the side of Mad Lions first, maybe, because GB, looking at international tournaments, they are not playing to the expectations we have for them.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? I'm not even sure at this point in time to actually know what to expect of Mad Lions. When we head into the last week of regular season, I thought to myself, out of all the teams fighting for the last playoff spot or group stages spot, Mad Lions would be one of the ones that would get in for sure, and the others were the one where I'm like, I'm not really sure. When they play up against Team Heretics in the tiebreaker, even then it looks like they were going to lose for a second. Then when they were playing up against Vitality, they never really got an inch in that matchup either. So it just feels like it's a bit disappointing. We always keep having high expectations, and must be disappointing for them as well, because we know they can do better.
And on the side of Fnatic, coming from not qualifying to finally making it thus far, rebuilding the team, trying to find an identity. Roxa, what do we make of Fnatic so far in the last chance that they have today?
So while Fnatic has made playoffs this time around, I have to say, watching them, they're still a very questionable team in a lot of ways. Obviously, the Fnatic fans might come after me for saying this, but like, their performances have just been so disappointing up until this point. I think they've now started to find their style kind of slowly, with Reckless just sitting bot lane like he used to back in the day. We see Advi and Razok roaming. Razok has some synergy going with Humanoid. But all in all, they're just not a team. And I think for me, that's the big difference between these two. Mad Lions are over-aggressive and make a lot of mistakes, sure, but they do it as 5. Fnatic, it feels like watching a solo queue game sometimes when they're on the Rift, I'm not going to lie.
I get that. I get that. We'll see that in a couple minutes, but I want to focus on the second match we have on our hands today, SK versus G2. G2 losing last week, GB, against Koi. What can we expect from the winter winners here? I don't think they're playing to the level we expected from them.
Yeah, I think for sure it's a disappointment to see G2 down there as well, and I think as well for the likes of Caps, who got kind of, wasn't really able to leave his impact in that series as well. Not often have we seen this happen without him being able to bounce back and actually come back and do better. So I'm expecting a G2 that's going to be fearful today and quite scary looking.
We'll see that in the remainder of the day. Roxa, maybe a couple words on this matchup before we...
Well, I do want to say that I think Caps in this situation is the most scary Caps you can ever find, because this guy thrives under the pressure, and when you make this guy angry, you better get out of his way. So I think as long as they manage to, get him going, maybe put him on some different picks, because he was spicing it up quite a bit last week, they're going to be fine.
All right, story for later today, because as of now, we have more on Fnatic as Yinsu is standing by with their head coach, Nightshare. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Law. I am joined now by the head coach of Fnatic. It is Nightshare. Thank you so much for joining me today. Now, I did watch some of the vlogs and voice comms as well, the content from the last game you played against Astralis. And you kind of identify some issues already after that game. You kind of said to your boys, the nerves got the better of you in game 1. Is this still kind of a persisting issue? And how do you fix that?
I mean, honestly, whoever was watching the game 1, right, could recognize that as well, because we had a hard-winning bot lane matchup, and we kind of misplayed it in a way where we should not be allowed to play the first game, and we still came back, and we still were pretty competitive, and we could have actually won the game. And honestly, it was something we were, again, expecting, right, because we had sickness, we didn't play much on the stage, and it's like no new environment, it's BO3, now it's, it's serious. So, yeah, I mean, even today, I feel like there will be jitters and people will be misplaying. But honestly, it will just get better with the time. And, maybe game 1 will be messy again. But I feel like once they get into the game and they just realize, okay, it's just a game that we play from office, from home, then they'll be good.
It's one of the things that takes time, right?
Yeah.
I think we were talking about this before. Now, let's talk about some of those misplays, because in the mid to late game, it gets a little bit scrappy. But surely there are a couple of players, at least you're looking to, for them to step up in those situations specifically to be able to fix things, right? So who are those players?
I think for us, it's mainly Humanoid, and then either Razork or Edwin. And lately, even Oscar was stepping up in voice comms. So I'm very happy that, like, whoever sees something, they're there to step up. Even Martin, sometimes steps up and calls, and then people just respect, follow, and it's really nice to see that it's not just one person.
And lastly, I know you've had a lot of experience in your past as well, and dealing with these situations, some less experienced players. What is the identity that you guys are trying to carve out right now? How would you like other people to see you as a team?
I think I'll not speak like about the draft identity or how we play, but I honestly feel like teams should be wary or scared, because I feel like we're one of the biggest momentum teams. When things are going really great, then we play insanely well. On the other hand, if things are not doing good, then we are not doing great. But now we're in the losers bracket, and I honestly feel like losers bracket is OP, or it is really strong, because then you can actually build up the momentum. You have a lot of series to play. You have a lot of things to like realize in what's working on stage, what's not, because again, it's a bit different what's working on stage and scrims.
Well, hopefully today's going to be that day that you guys make that statement. And thank you so much for joining me. And I'm going to throw this back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Yunsu. As he said, grabbing the momentum has to be today, as both teams face elimination here. And I'm going to talk about the Fnatic side of the story for now. We said it in winter, they didn't pass the regular season. They tried to rebuild. They're trying to look like a team who has a glimpse of an identity, but is it gonna be enough? What is Fnatic's struggles for now, Broxau? And what is their game plan, if you can find one in the games we've seen?
So I think, like we talked about briefly earlier, they are starting to have an identity. And if we look at Reckless, for example, he's starting to play a bit like 2018, 2019 Reckless, where he's kind of being left on his own island, but he still does well on his own. He doesn't really die randomly. Advian and Razork roam around mid lane to set up Humanoid. Oscar once in a while gets some attention. So really, the playstyle is kind of set in stone in the early game, but the problems come around in mid and late game. Because while early game seems pretty good for the most part, once the objective fights come around, when you see them grouping around the dragon, like, it's very likely someone is going to get caught out. And it can be anyone. Oscar just going in alone as Mordecai, so Humanoid overextending with Lissandra. Reckless often not getting peel and just standing there as Varus trying to fight back when he's getting run down by the enemy front line. And I think them having that synergy on point is the key part and the one thing they need to do if they are to be competitive.
Yeah, but I actually also think from the side of Fnatic, at times, especially against one of the games against Astralis, it was their strength when they played this absorbed composition that they had with Lissandra and Tahm Kench too. I think in regards to Fnatic, it becomes really difficult, if you want to be more specific, when the game slows down. When nothing is happening on the map, when you're not fighting and you're utilizing the fact that you still have very mechanically good players, the games become difficult for them, and that's why we see them slow down the most.
And I was wondering, because of the interview Yunsu had with Nightshare, they were talking about communication and how to set it up. A lot of voices, of course, within this Fnatic lineup from the answers we got. But Broxai, you've been in this situation. When a team is trying to build itself like this, who should have the stronger voice? Who should be the leader? And who should step in? And who do you expect to step in for the team like this?
So it, of course, depends a little bit on the team dynamic. It depends on the personalities of the players. But usually it has to be the veterans. That's what they're for, right? Veterans are supposed to be teaching the newer players and kind of always play the same way, always communicate the same way, and just be like stable rocks that the teams can rely on. So for Fnatic in particular, it would have to be Reckless, it would have to be Humanoid, it would have to be Razork, because Oscar and Advian, they haven't been in this position that much, and the pressure might, not necessarily, but it might get to them a little more than the rest. So these are the 3 guys that need to step up and that need to have an impact in comps today.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about Reckless, though, there's some improvements since winter, since spring even, and a bit more room for him as Fnatic plays less for bot side than they used to, GB.
Yeah, I think it also just comes down to the way that the team kind of started becoming more comfortable with themselves and finding some identity in draft, because I actually think Fnatic has been really good at elevating themselves from game to game to game. Even in regular season, when their win streak started, when they got the first one against Team Heretics, that game was awful. And but it was the fact that they could build on it again and again and again and become better. And Reckless has also gotten better with time.
Roxa, you were saying that he looks a bit more like Reckless 2018 in that sense.
Well, I think even earlier the split, it's not like Reckless was bad or anything.
No.
I think he was playing more than fine, but it's really difficult to be an AD carry on a team that's kind of dysfunctional, that doesn't have synergy, because it doesn't really matter what you do in the laning phase if no one peels for you and assists you in mid and late game. Tanks are just going to jump into you and one-shot you. Tanks are so strong in the current meta, right? So I think it's something they've gotten a bit better at, but they still need to keep improving in this area for Reckless to really shine.
You see Reckless on stage right now actually channeling the Boaster energy from Veterans. Of course, we'll see how this one plays out today. But focusing maybe on what can help them finding this stability, I think we have to look at Humanoid, the meta on the mid lane, and the versatility that he can bring to this team. But maybe sometimes it gets lost in Fnatic's game plan.
I mean, I think Humanoid has been the best performing member of Fnatic as well, and he's been doing it with different functions, how to do it as a team. I think he's the ace player because he's the one who kind of plays bandage duty. When we need someone to get priority in the mid lane, when we saw it in the ASEA with the regular season, that was him on that. When we needed to have the absorption with the Lissandra, that was also him against Leader, while also having the most damage on that champion. And when they had to go for the LeBlanc, he was also doing super well in the early game, getting ahead early, but then come the Fnatic mid-game struggles, and when you have a LeBlanc that's not as easy to play around with as a control mage per se, the game became difficult for Fnatic. But I think the by far best performing member of Fnatic.
I think Fnatic needs Humanoid to perform to even be remotely close to winning today. The thing is, normally he's not the strongest laning phase player, and that's been one of the challenges for him, getting past the 15-20 minute mark. But once mid and late game comes around, he deals so much more damage than anyone else on the team. He has a very high kill participation, as we see here, and he's involved in every single play. So when Razork and Humanoid can group up and have good synergy in the game, and he gets set up for success, he can solo carry games.
Mid jungle is going to be a pivot here in this matchup anyway. But before that, I want to talk about Mad Lions and what's going wrong and right with them, because we knew Mad Lions at their peak when they were team fighting. But right now, they have a good plan. The execution, not so much.
Yeah, I actually think the first game they played against Vitality, they could have actually won it. I've brought some examples as well, because they decided to go for a skirmish composition that also allowed themselves to get leads. In the specific play we got here, as you can already see, War gets dropped down. Their first move with Niski as well, and Elioya being able to come in. Hylissang has the first move over Kai'Sa. So the setup is here for any potential good counter jungling when you spot Bo here. If you want to go in and dive, right now Bo is channeling the Hex Flash. Niski's already ulted. He's failed it once, a little bit on the wall. No one's going to have the pillar is not in a position where you actually stop the Hex Flash either. So he's actually able to get out. Photon's not in a position where you actually get dove on the tower. And in the mid lane, Perkz has now pushed in the wave that suddenly Niski had to move on. So they've actually lost more from a play they should have gained more on. This one's super important too, because they want to skirmish around Rift Herald. Right now, Elioya has a level advantage. Crucially, he also has a flash. And with that level 6, when the skirmish breaks out, Mad Lions should just win this and pick up the Rift Herald. But let's see how it actually pans out, because when the Malphite comes in and he's going to look for the ultimate, at first you're going to think he's going to flash that, but he doesn't. And because he doesn't get the ultimate off, he doesn't get to be a champion. Look at all these low HP bars. This should have been a clean-up for Mad Lion. This should have been them getting the Herald. They don't. So after as well, when Bo comes in, and Mad Lions didn't get it. Mad Lions never got the Rift Herald in this scenario either. And this could have been something that really would have accelerated their game plan too. And there's loads of different examples with this in this game where they're looking for a skirmish, but it's actually the mechanics that goes wrong. And it's a bit sad because, as you said, the idea is there, but clicking the right buttons just wasn't. And
that's the thing. That I think the series last week was highly dictated by the mid jungle from Vitality. I think it's going to be the same story here as well for the Mad Lions. And we know that when Yoya and Niski click, they click good. But is it going to come out this way, Broxa?
Well, we'll see. One thing that I like about Mad is that while they've been extremely over-aggressive, which has led to them dying constantly, they're actually playing as a team. And if we look at the 5-man unit, these guys have better coordination and synergy than Fnatic. They just have to tone down the int a little bit, so to speak. Just calm down, take it slow, and then they're going to be fine.
Take it slow, and they're going to be fine. There's no more second chances here for both of these teams as they face elimination in the spring split. It's time to find out who will stay alive and who will fail.
Big lights, big stadium, big arenas. It gets no bigger.
113 jumps in as we can see Photon with the counter-strike. It's a 4-man mock-up. They can continue to CC everybody down. And Bo is just taking everyone out on a silver platter. Triple kill for Bo.
Are ramping up right now during playoffs, and we should be a scary team to play against.
I'm kind of amazed and surprised at the same time, but now I'm pretty confident because I know what we're able to do.
Crownie's still full HP. He's dodging. He's dipping. It's all Crownie. Call him king, because he has been crowned with a pentakill!
I think Razork, for example, is playing way better right now. I want to get a rematch against him since it always feels good to beat Razork.
We've been shaky at some times, but we're figuring still some stuff out, and I think we're gonna come up strong. Doesn't matter what's your name, it's just all about the team synergy.
Maybe looking for a kick flash. Razor caught between the midst of the entire team to get over the wall. The flash out of safety, now trying to get the blast come, but Chasey's here again! This man, the perfect defender! The 3-man core, Adviant, Humor, and Reckless standing strong. Elilia coming in to finish the job, but it does not matter. Next kick still standing for now, flashing out of the range, trying to get away from the spears as much as he can. Oh, they're not getting anything back. There's no more Shroud to protect him. He's gonna get knocked back, he's gonna get eaten alive, and the fight will keep going as Broken Blade manages to find the feast onto Irrelevant. Oh, he's dancing, hit him with it!
I really want to try again and give it another shot and show how good we can be.
We actually went far in the regular season and we're not planning to stop.
Maybe we got too overconfident after beating supposedly the best team in the league, and then you play versus BTS and you just think of the name BTS. In the end, I definitely think we can beat anyone.
Trippy flash forward on the hook. He is going to connect on the Broken Blade, and that is massive. That could be fight deciding, but now there's a TP in the middle of the pit. They're trying to turn and burn. Yike throwing out the ultimate caps. Taken out. Double for Comp and an ace for Koi.
The last 2 steps and really showing that we are the best team.
We just actually want to win everything.